Let's be honest. There are things people secretly want their partners to do. Things they'll never admit out loud because they're afraid of how it sounds. They want control, but not too much. They crave attention, but only from the right person. And sometimes the very things they say they hate are the exact things that make their hearts race. Today, I'm going to explore 7 things people secretly wish their partners did based on deeper psychological dynamics. These aren't about being disrespectful. They're about understanding the primal side of human desire. The side one hides behind politeness, modern ideals, and words like, "I don't like that." Stay till the end because number 7 reveals the core instinct that controls attraction more than anything else. But before we dive in, let me be clear about something. This isn't manipulation. This isn't about tricking anyone or being fake. This is about understanding the deep psychological patterns that drive human attraction. Patterns that exist whether we acknowledge them or not. The reality is most people go through life completely blind to these hidden desires. They listen to what people say they want, but they ignore what people actually respond to. And that gap between words and reality is where most people lose the game before it even starts. So, if you're ready to understand the truth behind attraction, if you're ready to see past the surface and into the psychology that drives desire, then let's begin. 1. They secretly want you to take control confidently, not forcefully. Even the most independent person feels an undeniable attraction toward a partner who knows what they want and takes the lead. They may say they love equality, and they do, but emotionally they're drawn to confident decisiveness. When you make decisions, guide situations, or lead with calm confidence, you awaken something primal in them. It's not about control. It's about security. They want to feel your certainty because it lets them relax into a more receptive energy. Think about it this way. Every single day, they make hundreds of decisions. What to wear, what to eat, how to respond to that email, how to handle that difficult coworker. They're constantly in problem-solving mode, constantly figuring things out. And when they're with you, deep down, they don't want to make another decision. They want to exhale. They want to trust that you've got this, that you can navigate the moment with clarity and purpose. When you say, "I know a great place. Let's go there," instead of, "Where do you want to go?" When you lead them through a crowd with a guiding touch, when you make the call in uncertain moments without hesitation, you're giving them something they can't get anywhere else. The freedom to just be. But here's the key distinction most people miss. Leadership isn't about barking orders or being controlling. It's about being so internally certain that they naturally want to follow your lead. It's about creating a space where they feel safe enough to surrender their need to control everything. The moment they feel you can handle their world without needing their validation, that's when attraction becomes instinctual. This is why the overly accommodating person who constantly asks for permission, who defers every decision back to them, who seeks approval before taking action, they exhaust them emotionally. Not because they're kind, but because they're adding to the mental load instead of taking it away. True leadership is a gift you give. The gift of letting their energy flow freely because they trust your direction. 2. They want you to tease them playfully, not cruelly. Most people are either too nice or too cold. But people secretly crave the middle ground. A partner who can play with their mind just enough to keep them hooked. When you tease them with confidence and a smirk, you create emotional tension. That tension is addictive. It's what makes them replay conversations in their head at night. Because teasing is a form of flirtation that says, "I'm not intimidated by you." And that's powerfully attractive. Let me break down why this works on such a deep level. When you tease someone, you're essentially communicating several things at once. First, you're showing that you're comfortable enough to challenge them, that you're not walking on eggshells around their beauty or their presence. Second, you're creating emotional spikes, little moments of surprise that break the predictable pattern most people follow. And third, you're demonstrating social intelligence, the ability to read the room, to understand boundaries, and to dance right along that edge without crossing it. People are attracted to partners who can handle verbal sparring. Why? Because it shows mental strength. It shows you're not easily thrown off. Balance. It shows you have a personality that can't be intimidated or controlled. Think about the difference between these two responses is when they say they're running late. Response A, oh, that's okay. No worries at all. Take your time. Response B, let me guess. You changed your outfit 3 times and you're still not happy with it. The first response is safe. It's nice, but it creates zero emotional charge. The second response, it teases them playfully. It shows you understand them and it makes them smile, maybe even laugh while they're scrambling to get ready. That small moment of playful tension just made them feel something. And feeling something, even if it's mock offense or playful annoyance, is infinitely better than feeling nothing. But here's the critical boundary. Teasing must come from a place of warmth, not cruelty. There's a massive difference between playful banter and cutting insults. Real teasing says, I see you. I like you. And I am comfortable enough to joke with you. Cruel mockery says, I want to hurt you to feel powerful. People can tell the difference instantly. One makes them feel alive, the other makes them feel unsafe. Remember, teasing done right builds chemistry faster than compliments ever will because compliments tell them what they already know. But teasing shows them who you are. 3. They want to chase you, even if they'll never admit it. Here's a psychological fact. People value what they earn more than what they're handed. When a partner is too available, too eager, or too predictable, they lose interest. Not because they're mean, but because their brain stops producing the thrill of pursuit. The people who say they want a partner who gives them everything, they get bored the moment they actually get them. They want a partner who's present but not clingy. A partner they have to win over emotionally because when they chase their desire intensifies. Let me explain the psychology behind this because it goes deeper than most people realize. All human beings are wired to pursue what retreats and to retreat from what pursues. This isn't gender specific. It's not manipulation. It's basic human psychology that's been documented for centuries. When something is easily obtained, our brains assign it lower value. When something requires effort, investment, and uncertainty, our brains become obsessed with it. This is why the person who texts back immediately every single time, who's always free, who drops everything the moment they reach out, they kill attraction. Not because there's anything wrong with them as a person, but because they've removed all mystery, all challenge, all sense of having to earn their attention. Meanwhile, the person who has their own life, their own purpose, their own schedule, the person who sometimes takes hours to respond because they're genuinely busy, they create natural scarcity. And scarcity triggers the chase response in their brain. They start thinking about them more. They start initiating contact more. They start trying to figure them out to win their approval, to secure their attention. And here's the beautiful paradox. The less they feel they have you, the more they want you, the more they have to work for your time and attention, the more valuable that time and attention becomes to them. But again, there's a critical distinction here. This isn't about playing games or being intentionally cold. This is about genuinely having a life that matters to you, a mission, a purpose, goals, passions, things that legitimately demand your time and energy. When you're scarce because you're busy building something meaningful that's attractive. When you're scarce because you're following some manipulative strategy while actually sitting at home doing nothing. They'll sense the fakeness and it'll repel them. The secret isn't to ignore them. It's to make them earn your attention. That's what makes them crave it. Because when a person has to chase, they invest emotionally. And the more they invest, the more they value what they're pursuing. This is why the relationships where one person chases initially often become the ones where they're most devoted long-term because they had to work for it. They assigned it tremendous value and now they'll fight to keep it. 4. They want you to have an edge just enough to feel intriguing. People are drawn to contrast. They want the kind partner who can also be firm when needed. The protector who can also be respected by others. The gentle person with a strong core. It's psychology. An edge signals strength, unpredictability, and control. Qualities the subconscious links to protection and capability. They'll never tell you this, but when you reveal glimpses of that depth, when you show you could be formidable, but you choose not to be, that's when they feel both safe and intrigued. Let's talk about why this is one of the most misunderstood aspects of attraction. When people say they want a nice partner, they're telling the truth, but only part of it. They want a partner who treats them well, who's kind and respectful, but they also want a partner who has the capacity for strength, for resolve, for controlled assertiveness. They just choose not to direct it at them. This goes back to evolutionary psychology. For thousands of years, people had to select mates who could protect them and their community from threats. A person who was only gentle, only kind, only soft. They couldn't protect anyone when danger arrived. But a person who possessed strength, who could be fierce when necessary, who had a controlled intensity within them, they could keep others safe. In modern times, this translates to a very specific type of attraction. People want a partner who's strong to the world but soft to them. They want to see you handle conflict with others without backing down. They want to see you set firm boundaries when someone disrespects you. They want to sense that beneath your calm exterior, there's something powerful, something that could be unleashed if needed. But here's what makes this truly attractive. It's not the edge itself. It's your control over it. Any person can be aggressive, but a person who can be strong and chooses restraint, that's mastery. A person who can dominate, but chooses gentleness with them, that's power. This is why people are drawn to those with depth. To people with complex pasts who found peace, to partners who have intensity in their eyes but kindness in their actions. It's the contrast that's intoxicating. They feel safe because you're gentle with them. But they also feel excited because they know there's more to you. Something deeper, something stronger, something that only they get to see glimpses of. An edge isn't about aggression. It's about depth. And the deeper you go, the stronger their fascination becomes. Show them you have layers. Show them you're not one-dimensional. Show them that you contain multitudes, light and dark, strength and gentleness, danger and safety, that complexity is magnetic. 5. They want you to have your own independent life. Sounds simple, right? But it's true. If you give them constant attention, they feel smothered. But when you pull back, when you don't text first, when you seem busy living your own life, their mind starts working overtime. They start wondering, what are they doing? Who are they with? Why haven't they reached out? That mystery triggers emotional tension. And tension creates attraction. It's not about playing games. It's about balance. You're showing that your life doesn't revolve around them. And that's what makes them want to be part of it. Now, before anyone misunderstands this, let me clarify what I mean. This isn't about being intentionally cold or playing manipulative games where you calculate exactly how long to wait before responding to seem cool. This is about genuine independence. When you have a life you're genuinely excited about, hobbies, goals, friendships, purpose, you naturally won't be glued to your phone waiting for their messages. You'll respond when you're available, not the instant they reach out. You'll have evenings where you're busy with your own activities. You'll have days where they don't hear from you because you're deeply engaged in something meaningful. And ironically, that natural unavailability makes you infinitely more attractive than forced availability ever could. Here's why this works psychologically. Attention is a form of value. When you give your attention freely, constantly without any filter, you're essentially communicating that your attention isn't valuable. But when your attention is scarce, when it has to be earned, when it's clearly going toward important things, it becomes precious. And people, especially in relationships, crave what they perceive as precious. Think about it from their perspective. If you're always available, they unconsciously think they have nothing better to do than wait for me. But if you're sometimes unavailable, they think they have a life that matters. I wonder what they're doing. That shift in perception changes everything. They go from feeling like they have you figured out to wondering about you. From feeling secure in your constant attention to feeling slightly uncertain. That uncertainty creates emotional investment. When you're slightly unpredictable, they invest emotionally because their ego wants to earn back your focus. The key word there is slightly. You can't disappear for weeks or be completely inconsistent. That's not attractive. That's just unreliable. But being someone who has a rich, full life that sometimes takes priority over constant communication, that's incredibly attractive because it shows you're a person with options, with purpose, with a life worth living. And now they want to earn their place in that life. 6. They want you to tell them no. Most people think saying yes to everything will make them happy. Wrong. A person secretly respects a partner who sets boundaries. When you tell them no calmly without anger, you show them that you're not controlled by their approval. It's one of the deeper truths in relational psychology. A person who can walk away rarely needs to. Saying no doesn't make you cruel. It makes you powerful because it shows you're emotionally independent, not desperate for their validation. Let me explain why this might be the most important point of all. Most people enter relationships as approval seekers. They want to be liked, to be accepted, to be chosen. And there's nothing wrong with that desire. It's human. But when that desire becomes desperate, when you'll do anything to avoid conflict or disapproval, when you sacrifice your own boundaries just to keep them happy, you stop being attractive. Because people aren't actually attracted to partners they can control. They're attracted to partners they can't. When you say no to something that doesn't work for you, when you hold firm on your values, even if it risks disappointing them, when you prioritize your own needs and boundaries without apology, you're demonstrating something crucial: self-respect. And self-respect is the foundation of all attraction. A person might test this. They might push boundaries to see if you'll hold them. They might ask for something unreasonable to see if you have the spine to refuse. They might create drama to see if you'll cave under pressure. And when you don't, when you remain calm, grounded, and firm in your no, their respect for you skyrockets because you've just proven you can't be manipulated. You've proven your frame is stronger than theirs. You've proven you have standards and you'll enforce them. This is why overly accommodating people who never say no, who bend over backward to please, who sacrifice everything for approval, they rarely get the partner. And when they do get them, they don't keep their respect. Because a person can't respect a partner who doesn't respect themselves enough to have boundaries. Every time you stand your ground, you become more attractive because they're not just drawn to your body, they're drawn to your backbone. So start saying no when it's appropriate. No, I won't cancel my plans to accommodate you at the last minute. No, I won't tolerate being spoken to that way. No, that's not something I'm willing to do. Watch what happens. Watch how their respect grows. Watch how the dynamic shifts because the person who can walk away is the person they'll work to keep. 7. They secretly want to feel a deep sense of belonging emotionally, not physically. Here's the part most people never understand. People don't want control over everything. They want to surrender to someone who's worthy of their trust. They want a partner who makes them feel uniquely seen, not through force, but through presence. When you lead with certainty, protect their energy, and make them feel like they're your priority, you're giving them the emotional intensity they crave, but fears to admit. This is where attraction transforms into devotion. Because deep inside, they want a partner who can emotionally hold their heart, not by dominance, but by depth. This final point is perhaps the most profound. In an age where independence is praised and vulnerability is sometimes seen as weakness, people still crave the feeling of deep belonging. Not in a possessive, controlling way, but in a deep, primal, emotional way. They want to feel like they're yours, like you've claimed their heart so completely that the thought of anyone else doesn't even register, like you're their person and they're your person, and that bond is unbreakable. This goes beyond attraction. This is about connection. When you show them that you see them, truly see them beneath all the masks and defenses. When you understand their fears and accept their darkness along with their light, when you create such emotional safety that they can be completely vulnerable with you, that's when they surrender. Not because you demanded it, but because you earned it. This kind of emotional depth comes from consistency. From showing up when it's hard, from protecting their heart as fiercely as you'd protect their body, from making them feel so secure in your commitment that they never have to question where they stand. And when a person feels deeply connected to a partner they trust and respect, their loyalty becomes unshakable because you've given them something rare. The freedom to fully surrender their heart, knowing it's held in a place of ultimate safety and understanding. This is the final secret. The ultimate attraction isn't to what you do. It's to who you are when you're unafraid to be deeply, authentically yourself and to see them the same way.